Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, Out of Debt with Lex. If you're new here, my name is Alexa, and it's been a while. I started posting on this channel about a year ago, a little over a year ago, when it was created, and I really wanted to share my debt-free journey. I made a lot of progress in my first 6 months. I actually paid off like $13,000 or $14,000 worth of debt, and then you'll notice I stopped posting. I'm going to start this video by explaining kind of what went wrong and how I'm restarting this debt-free journey and also kind of what to expect, and then we're going to do a debt confession and start from scratch with this debt-free journey. So that being said, obviously my first attempt at starting this debt-free journey failed, and you'll see how miserably it failed when you see my debt numbers. I wanted to give some backstory on why I feel like it failed this first time and what hopefully is going to be different this time around. I learned a lot in 2024 about my money habits and my husband's money habits in general, and also like how we've been surviving these years that I never realized. So looking back on it and analyzing it now, I'm realizing that because I get my bonus at the beginning of the year, I get stock allotments at the beginning of the year, I get my like federal tax returns at the beginning of the year. It was always easy at the beginning of the year because we had this excess of money, and then September through January, just struggling so hardcore. And now that I know this, I will try to set up 2025 so that doesn't happen and we don't end up relapsing on this whole debt-free journey. But it's something I never realized about myself before. On top of the fact, 2024 in particular was a very hard financial year for us. My husband's car had to be fixed multiple times throughout the year and probably totaled up to at least $4,000 to $5,000 in total of car repairs, which his car is not worth that much. Like, it's worth like maybe $10,000 total, so it really sucked dishing out that much money for that car, but we're in over our heads on that loan, so we can't really do anything about it because we can't even get rid of the car at the moment. So there's that. My car also had a couple of fixes that needed to be done as well, which is also not ideal. We're still paying off my husband's surgeries and stuff like that, which will not be listed because I do consider my like health debts to be a little bit separate from my other debts, I guess. So that's been taking quite a bit of our money. We also moved into a house, and there was a weird situation with the landlord where they are in our previous apartment and they just like charged up how much we owed them afterwards, and it was crazy. We lost a ton of money doing that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else specific. Oh, we only had one income for the majority of 2024, which we are not a one income household whatsoever. And we also just really struggled in general. Like we just struggled throughout the year. There were so many contributing factors to what led to not having anything to pull from anymore and just going more and more into debt for the year of 2024. So I'm really hoping 2025 can be different. I did make like a goals video over on my vlog channel, kind of just talking through a bunch of different goals, including financial ones, but I do feel like I am really hopeful that 2025 will bring hopefully less financial stress, and I really am hoping that my husband can hold down his job for the full year so we can get ourselves back on track. That being said, we're going to get into the debt confession. Obviously, I'm just using a blank sheet of paper. If you've been watching my channel for any period of time, I do like to make my own templates and stuff, but my printer is currently not working. So I figured either I upload it now and I just do it on paper, or I upload it later and wait for the printer, but I'd rather just do this now. So here we are. So we're going to start by writing debt confession. Also, I just want to say, if you are a member of my family, if you know me in real life, click off the video. I don't need you seeing this. Come back in 6 months to a year when I've paid off a ton of this debt, and that's the video you can watch. These videos, I really prefer you didn't watch. If you know me personally in my real life day-to-day, please, for your own sake, for my sake, just click off the video. It's embarrassing. We're going to go lowest to highest, and I do want to mention that the method that I will be using this time is the snowball method, and I'm not going to organize it in any sort of way. It's literally lowest to highest, regardless of what kind of if it's credit card, if it's a loan, whatever, it's lowest to highest. And I have made so many errors trying to pay off debt in the past. I've done like the debt lasso method. I've tried consolidating it into a loan. I've tried so many different methods. And I'm realizing that I just need to be basic, and I need to do this way. I cannot try to be fancy and like do the consolidation loan, whatever. No, that has gotten me to where I'm at today, and I can't do it anymore. So we are doing the straight up debt snowball method, lowest to highest, paying off in order, lowest to highest, and that is what we are doing. So without further ado, debt number one is my husband's Capital One. So I'm going to say S, Capital One. And I know these lines won't be perfectly straight or beautiful, but you're just going to have to deal with it because you're watching the video. So the balance on that one is $518.43. I feel like I want to get some colors going or something, because it'll make me feel like maybe a little bit less sad or something. I don't know. All right. Next up is our line of credit. So basically our bank account is attached to a line of credit where if it ever goes over the balance, it automatically pulls from this account, so we don't go negative. And the balance on this is $1,000. Next up, we've got my Citi card. It's a credit card. And the balance on that is $1,002.48. And basically, I'm thinking because all of our things at the beginning of the year are coming up in the next couple months, I'm hopefully going to be able to knock out a lot of these early debts towards the top of the list early on in the year. But the hard part is being stable enough to keep it there and then continue making progress, because that's what was part of my downfall last year. So next up is Synchrony. This is a newer debt. So if you've watched my videos before, we did not have a Synchrony card before. And unfortunately, we ended up getting one. $1,409.99. And this was for some of my husband's music equipment. He DJs on the side for, I don't want to say fun, because he does make money doing it, but it is his passion project, I guess. So yeah, he did buy, some of it was for equipment, some of it was for like groceries, stuff like that. But yes, obviously new. So the next one is S, so my husband's Chase card. This was one of the times we were trying to do the debt lasso method and basically like move things onto 0% interest rate cards and hopefully pay them off faster. And with these two Chase cards, so we both got a Chase card, we had done that, and obviously it didn't work. But we will be able to pay them off this year, hopefully. And won't have to deal with it anymore. The balance on his is $2,379.76. Next up is my Wells Fargo card, and that one has a balance of $2,552.92. Next up is a loan. So I'm just calling it Upstart. And the balance on this one is $3,367.48. The reason for this one, we were paying double rent and we literally just couldn't afford it. We had nowhere to pull money from. We had nothing. So unfortunately, we got a loan and used it to pay off our rent and our utilities for that month. and it helped us catch up on bills when we were starting to fall really behind. Obviously, I'm hoping we can really pay off a lot of these, and especially this loan, because I just hate having it here because it feels pointless. It saved us literally, like we would have not been able to pay our rents and it would have been really bad for us. But yeah, I don't know. The thing about debt is there's so much shame around it, and I don't want to feel shameful, but I really just feel so down on myself about it. Next up is my car. So my car has a balance of $3,446.42. So my car will actually be paid off in September of this year. Fun fact. Next up is a 401k loan. I've touched on this a little bit. This was absolutely like emergency level thing. That's why we ended up having to take it out. I've never wanted to do a 401k loan. I never will do one again. But the reason why we took it out really is just because we were at the point where we had nowhere else to go last year, and we desperately needed money, like desperately. So that's why it's here. So $7,715.62. Next up is my husband's UW card, and the balance on that one is $7,019.43. Then we've got my Discover card, and Discover has a balance of $9,498.00. Then we've got my Capital One. So Alexa, Capital One card has a balance of $10,787.57. And then one of my biggest mistakes in this journey, I got a loan to consolidate our credit cards because we were down to 2 credit cards, which is like, when you look at this, that's unbelievable that we were down to 2 credit cards, but at the time we were. So we were able to consolidate it into one loan, which obviously everything got ran up on. So it's unfortunate that we have everything ran up on plus this credit consolidation loan, but I don't know, it just is what it is. The balance on the loan is $13,993.02. Then we have my husband's car. A lot of you, I'm sure if this is your first video watching me, will say, why is this balance so high? Just get rid of the car. So my husband, this was before I had known anything about finances really at all, had gotten 4 cars 4 years in a row. So back to back to back to back. And if you know anything about doing that, that basically you just are gaining negative equity in those cars because you're paying for the interest rate on top of the interest rate on top of the interest rate on top of the interest rate. So his car currently is worth about like $10,000 to $12,000 probably, but his loan is currently sitting at $21,000. We have paid it down quite a bit since we got the car. Like, it started at $30,000, so we have paid off about $9,000 worth of the loan. But obviously, like, if we tried to sell the car tomorrow, we wouldn't be able to with like covering the loan. We'd have to get another loan to cover all the negative equity, and then we wouldn't be able to buy a different car. So that's the main reason why we're holding on to this this car in general. Obviously, like, if we sold it, this would greatly like lower how much debt we have on our plates, but it's just not at the point where it's even worth trying to sell because of all that negative equity. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm really hoping that the comments down below are positive. or uplifting. So if you want to leave a positive or uplifting comment, I would greatly appreciate that, because that's part of the reason why I stopped posting on here, if I'm being honest. Like, I really did not appreciate negative comments on some of the last videos that I posted. And yeah, I just don't operate well in that environment. So not anymore. And then last but not least, we'll also include my student loans. Eventually, when we get closer, like farther down the list, I think I'm gonna include like exactly, like it's split up into 4 loans. So it's like A, B, C, D. So I'll include exactly how much each loan is eventually, but currently my loans are totaled altogether at $28,235.43. Craziness. But that is it for the confession. There's no other crazy numbers. But obviously, this sucks. Like, this is not proud of this whatsoever. And I'm really sad about it, to be honest, because I feel like last year I had so much hope at the beginning of the year when I started to make progress, and then I look at where we're at this year and I'm just so disappointed. $118,488.59. And so yeah, I'm not very happy about it. I'm really just disappointed in general, but I do know, like when we were doing good last year, and when things started to like happen for us that were really good at the beginning of the year, where we were able to make this progress, I know how good that felt. And I'm really hoping this year is a redemption year for us. I have no words to explain how terrible 2024 was to us, even though it had some great things, like with having a baby and stuff like that. There were some good things, but also it's just a terrible year. And so I'm really hoping that 2025, and maybe in February or March, I would hope that we'll be able to start making some progress. My husband's actually starting a new job in about 6 days. And so once we have 2 incomes going, we'll be so much more stable than we are currently. It's not that I don't make a lot of money, because I do. Our debts are so high that we're literally drowning in them. So yeah, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. You'll notice that a lot of my older videos have been deleted because I just wanted to start over with a fresh, clean slate. But I am hoping to post a little bit more about like what are my financial goals for 2025, how am I budgeting, like I'm going to be doing like a bunch of spreadsheet related things, because I've been really into spreadsheets lately on Google Drive. So if you would like to, hit that subscribe button. Let's get me to 1,000 subscribers so I can monetize this thing. And yeah, that is all for today. Please give me some words of encouragement down in the comments below, because I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Bye, guys.